Hello and welcome back to the channel. We continue to visit the center of Tuscany. And on this occasion, we move to Siena. Undoubtedly one of the most famous cities in the region. To then visit the very small but charming Monteriggioni. And if you like our video, do not forget to like it, subscribe and activate notifications so that you know when we upload a new video. Siena, which began as a Roman military colony in the time of Emperor Augustus, has been considered a World Heritage Site since 1995, preserving within its walls a beautiful medieval old town. As for parking, you won't have a problem. Because next to the Fortress Medicia, you have a free parking, which if it is full, you will have a paid parking, which leave you very close to the historic center. From the parking lot, and after passing next to the Basilica di Santo Domenico, we stop first at the Santuario Casa di Santa Caterina. We access the Portico dei Conigli, built after the proclamation of St. Catherine as patroness of Italy in 1939. This building is located in an area formerly dedicated to wool processing, where Catalina's father rented a building for his work as a tinturer. In 1466, after the canonization of St. Catherine, the city of Siena acquired the building for the public veneration of the saint. You can visit, among others, the Oratorio della Cucina, located on the remains of the ancient kitchen of the house, where Catalina fell during one of her ecstasy, miraculously remaining unharmed. In the Oratorio della Camera is the small cubicle in which he used to pray and rest, and the stone on which he usually leaned his head is still visible. But the heart of the sanctuary is the Chiesa del Crocifisso, or Church of the Cross, where the wooden crucifix is preserved, from which St. Catherine received the stigma in 1375. From the sanctuary, we continue our journey towards the center of Siena, through streets that already allow to intuit the beauty of its medieval historical center, and where from time to time, we will enjoy beautiful panoramas. We arrive at Piazza San Giovanni, where the baptistry of the Duomo di Siena, the Cattedrale di Santa Maria Assunta, one of the most majestic and important Romanesco Gothic churches in Italy, is located. From Piazza San Giovanni, after climbing a few stairs and passing under a beautiful arch, we arrive at Piazza del Duomo. The cathedral was consecrated in 1179, in the presence of Pope Alexander III of Siena. But the works continued for about 2 centuries, completing the bell tower in 1313, and beginning a new expansion in 1317. When Siena has great power, and the need arises for an even larger cathedral. Although the dream vanished due to the plague of 1348, which caused a drastic reduction in the population. The first thing that draws attention is the large facade, made of white marble, highlighting on its top a beautiful rosary with the busts of the apostles and prophets, which pay homage to the Virgin and the child Jesus. The interior is a true treasure of works of art, in which the pavement, a unique work of Italian art, stands out above all. But it not only highlights the floor, but also has other precious elements to admire, such as the pulpit, the altar, or the precious dome. After visiting this beautiful cathedral, we continue our tour through the streets of Siena. After passing under the Facciatone, a viewpoint overlooking the whole city, on the Via di Città, we find the Palazzo Chigi, a beautiful palace from the 16th century, and that is the result of the reconstruction of some buildings from the 14th to 16th centuries, which belonged to families of merchants and artisans. From the palace, you can already notice the bustle of one of the most emblematic places in Siena. We refer, if not, to the Piazza del Campo, with its large pavement divided into 9 sections, in memory of the 9 lords who ruled the city at the end of the 13th century. The square has that name because it was a green space where the market took place. The Piazza del Campo is a wonderful succession of medieval buildings, in which the Palazzo Pubblico stands out, where the city's governments have been succeeding since the last years of the 13th century. In the public palazzo stands the Torre de Mangia, one of the symbols of the city, which has a height of 102 meters and was built in the early 14th century, and from which you will have a beautiful panoramic view of the town once you climb the 400 steps that are up to the view. But the Piazza del Campo is famous because here El Palio is celebrated, and for 2 days in July and August, the square is covered with a layer of land, on which the horses of the different neighborhoods compete. The origin of the Palio dates back to the late 16th century, when the Catholic Church banned violent showings of bulls and fights, so the city council decided to replace them with a horse race, which went to be held in the Piazza del Campo, being the most spacious and comfortable place to catch the increasingly numerous audience, making this festival increasingly famous, to become a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And in this beautiful and unparalleled setting, we end our visit to Siena, to head to Monteriggioni, a small but charming place. Monteriggioni has a very ancient origin. The medieval village with its wall was built by the people of Siena in the 13th century on a hill to protect itself from the Florentines, its historical rivals. As for parking, you have a large paid parking, although if you are lucky, you can park in one of the few free places, which are before the entrance to the paid parking lot. From here only a short walk does not separate the medieval city centre. We like the small hill on which is Monteriggioni, located in this place to fulfill the defensive purposes for which it was built. And we do it by a staircase, which leaves us at the foot of the wall, and from which we can already admire a beautiful panorama of the surrounding land. In Monteriggioni it seems that time has never passed, being perfectly preserved. We access the village through the Porta Romeo, one of the 2 gates that give access by the wall of 10 meters high that surrounds it. Between these 2 gates, the Porta Franca or Romeo, and Porta San Giovanni, 14 towers are erected over the wall. The heart of Monteriggioni is the Piazza Dante Alighieri or Piazza Roma, now completely surrounded by hotels and restaurants, which serve both tourists and pilgrims of the Via Francigena. on their journey between Canterbury, in the United Kingdom, and Rome. Here we find the small Chiesa di Santa Maria Assunta, in Romanesque and Gothic style, and that in antiquity was a garden, which provided essential food during enemy attacks, when the population of the castle was under siege. Monteriggioni appears in literary works such as Dante's Divine Comedy, specifically in his Hell, but also in something as current as video games, as 2 games from the Assassin's Creed video game series are set in Monteriggioni. The visit to Monteriggioni is quick, and in a short time we arrive at the Fiorentina Gate, where we end our visit to this small but charming place, enclosed in the Middle Ages.